Hey, it's that time, and it's time for another Quick Look EX, and I am joined today by Poria, Adam, and Casey. And guys, we are looking at Fairytale fights, so I'm just going to let you guys kick it off and tell us what it's all about.
Yeah, so my name's Adam McGowan, I'm Marketing Director at PlayLogic, and we're here today to talk about Fairytale Fights. Fairytale Fights is a hack and slash platform adventure coming out this year on PS3, 360, and PC will be coming out Q1 next year.
Okay.
As I mentioned, it's a hack and slash platform adventure utilising the Unreal Engine 3 like you've never seen before. This initial area that we're in here, this is essentially our start menu. We didn't want the boring start menu where you just scroll through the options. We wanted something quirky and interactive. So the first building that we're going to show you here is the taxidermist, where you can keep a track on how many enemies you've killed, your kill statistics, how much blood you've shed throughout the game, and how many combos you've managed to pull off. The second item that we see here, this is the statue, and the statue is quite integral to your progress throughout the game. The further you progress, the bigger and better your statue becomes. And we're able to buy upgrades for our statue, as well as having it upgraded through our game's success. Second building here that you see, this is the bank, where we keep a tally of all our sort of financial statistics, how much money we've won, how much we've lost, how much we've saved, and how much we've collected. The currency in the game is fairly kind of integral in that you're able to use it with wishing wells, and you use it to revive yourself every time you die. This third building here, this is the observatory, where you can switch some of the scene settings. This is the musician, for example, where you can adjust the audio. And then the last one here is the carpenter, where you can adjust button layouts, vibration settings, etc.
So what's just the general backstory here? I mean, what's incited all these Fairytale people to such violence?
Sure. So the backstory for the game is that the Fairytale characters have lost their Fairytale status. So they're going throughout the Fairytale world, trying to complete Fairytale-related quests, such as saving princesses, for example, to regain their Fairytale status within the area, within the world that we're playing in. The world that we're playing in is a kind of world made up of Fairytale books and Fairytale themes. It's a mulch of all of these together, mixed and blended into one, and it's this island that floats in the clouds above the sea. And it's just, like I said, a massive kind of explosion of Fairytale characters. So the main playable characters that we have here are Little Red Riding Hood, the Naked Emperor, Snow White, and Jack from Jack and the Beanstalk. And aside from these main four playable characters, there's plenty of other Fairytale characters throughout the game world. For example, there is Pinocchio and Geppetto, and Pinocchio concepts that Geppetto wasn't happy with, so never really finalised. There is Goldilocks, who is a kind of ditzy, drunk blonde who can't ever get out of bed. There are the three bears, Mama, Papa and Baby Bear. There is the Pied Piper, to name a few, for example. And also in this village area that you see, just there was Puss in Boots. And the closer you get to her, you kind of see her eyes open and she'll keep an eye on you. Sure. And there's many references to Puss in Boots also throughout the game world, as there are to many of the other Fairytale characters.
Cool. Well, do you want to jump into one of the levels? And
yeah, we're going to jump into one of the early levels, and we'll show you some of the cool gameplay. So this is one of the earlier levels. This is the Path of the Lumberjack, and in this particular level, we're trying to rescue the porridge-producing kettle that's been stolen from the three bears by the lumberjacks. So as you can see, there's plenty of porridge on the ground that Little Red Riding Hood is using to follow to try and work out where she needs to go. This guy here that we're now talking to, this is the storyteller, and he's quite integral to the game in that he's writing down all of the adventures that you complete and the quests that you undertake. Because you've lost your Fairytale status, the storyteller is vital that you impress him, and it's vital that he continues to write down information in the great book.
If you all just now press start and choose a character, you can join our game.
Oh, I have to be the naked guy. Oh, two naked guys. Is he censored for the American audience?
He's censored across the board, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm the blue Naked Emperor, and I think you're the green.
Yeah, I'm the green guy.
If one of you wants to switch, you can press select and choose a different one.
Yeah, actually, I'll choose Beanstalk Jack. There we go. So within Fairytale Fights, we have a multitude of weapons and a multitude of combat types available. It's just obviously crazy melee that's going on now. But to kind of give you an example, we have over 140 weapons available throughout the game. They include sliced weapons, ranged weapons, magic potions, blunt weapons, and there's various types of attacks that you can perform as well. So we're just going to open one of these treasure chests down here and see what weapons we can pull out.
I have an axe stuck in my face, by the way.
So I, for example, I have a plain hammer here. Now this is a blunt weapon which I can use to kind of undertake normal attacks. Unfortunately, this won't allow me to slice anyone because it's not a slicing weapon.
Which one were you, Adam?
I'm playing as Jack. Okay, so Pori is now dynamically slicing me. He has his glory bar fully full up. In the top left-hand corner, for example, with each of the characters, you can see the green bar, which represents the health. The yellow bar represents the glory bar. And once your glory bar is full up, you can then go into glory attack, which is what Poria just did on myself, where he was dynamically slicing me. That's one of the technologies that the PlayLogic Game Factory have developed and built upon the Unreal Engine 3, is the dynamic slicing, which we believe is the first time ever that you're able to slice up fully 3D rendered polygon models in real time, dynamically.
Oh, very cool. Seems like you also have some impressive blood skating technology in here.
Yeah, so this is all part of our volumetric liquid system, which we've developed, and which really kind of gives all of the liquids in the game real property and real value, especially the blood. As you can see, yep, we're sliding around the screen with the blood pools here. There'll be many achievements in the game linked to how far you can slide on the blood and how much blood you can spill. The other key aspect of the volumetric liquid system as well is the fact that all of these liquids can blend seamlessly with one another. So you'll have bile, for example, and water and blood, and they'll all mix together to kind of create new liquid properties.
That sounds atrocious, actually. Come to think of it. So you guys have the attacks are mapped to the right stick. That's actually seems kind of uncommon for this sort of game. What was the thinking behind that design decision?
Well, we wanted to make sure that basically the controls are easy to learn, difficult to master. So that by very easily moving your stick around, you can slap someone, but as soon as you want to do some other cool stuff like air combos or chain combinations, they will get basically more complicated. But this way, by just using one button, so to say, it's more it feels more natural.
Right.
And hopefully, you will agree while playing this.
So as we've got loads of different weapon types going on, I think now would be a good time to kind of talk about the different types of combat that we have available. So as I mentioned earlier, we have over 140 weapons available within the game, well over 140 in fact, and each weapon has 3 or 4 different variations on its use. So when we're in Glory Attack, we can really kind of ramp up the power that these weapons have. So at the moment we're just using the...
Sorry about that.
At the moment we're just using the weapons in the normal format, but Poria's going to see if we can pick up this axe off this lumberjack here.
Sure. Let me get there.
Oh, it's stuck in me, Poria. So if you want to come over and take the axe out of me. That's one thing that's also worth mentioning as well, is that sliced weapons can be thrown at enemies. And each time you throw your slicing a weapon at an enemy, it will stick in the enemy and you're able to run over and pull the weapon back out and continue to use it.
Like this.
Alternatively, if the weapon's been thrown at you, you can pull it out of your back. So I'm playing as Little Jack now, and I can just take the axe out that was in my back and carry on using it to slice up the Naked Emperor. Now, what you'll notice is this picture-in-picture that keeps appearing in the screen, we've got it turned down at the moment, so it appears only infrequently. But how it appears, it's actually each colour in the background of the picture-in-P represents the character.
Okay.
So whoever's just completed that dynamic slicing will get the credit for it.
So clearly this game was rated E for everyone.
This is definitely an E for everybody. Yeah. No, it's going to be a mature rated game.
Right, okay.
We're currently talking to ESRB. The USK are the toughest guys of all. We have some achievements in the game that are linked to killing children.
Really?
Which
even Grand Theft Auto doesn't go that far.
Yeah, and the ESRB and the USK in Germany are kind of a little bit concerned about that at this stage.
Maybe you can see why they have a point.
Now what you'll notice is every time one of the characters dies, a gravestone appears, and this gravestone again is linked to how successful the character is throughout the game world. So at the moment we just have normal kind of stone carved gravestones, whereas once we get to a point where we're quite well revered within the game and we have lots of currency in our bank, we'll end up with these giant golden sarcophaguses, or sarcophagi.
Does that give you any kind of gameplay benefit? Like, do you respawn faster if you have one of those? Or
No, the respawn time is always the same. It's always 10 seconds, and
Okay.
it's a countdown timer that you can kind of interrupt if you want to spawn earlier. The whole kind of premise of this game really is the adventure aspect, is the story mode, which at the moment we're playing in 4-player co-op. You can play it as from anything from 1 to 2 players.
Basically, the reason that the respawn time is there, while you can always activate by pressing X, is the fact that sometimes you die because of an environmental hazard,
Okay.
like fire coming from a wall. And if that one's timed, if you have 10 seconds countdown, you can. Otherwise, you will die immediately when you start.
Right.
So here, for example, just in the background, you can see these train tracks. As Poria mentioned, there's plenty of environmental hazards throughout the game world. I'm just going to drop out here. There's plenty of environmental hazards throughout the game world that you can interact with, or push your enemies into, or push your colleagues into, such as trains, such as fire. And obviously, every time you push your enemies into this, they'll die. There's also like these logs that shoot out of these flumes. And every time they do, if you're stood in the way, you'll kind of get decapitated or get half your body sliced off. So this weapon that Poria has now, this is one of the guns that Poria is using in Glory Attack, and you can see it just fires out these multiple rounds of ammunition. The only weapons that actually kind of run out of ammunition per se are like the magic wands that you have and the firearms that you can pick up. They'll run out of bullets. Now we don't actually have ammunition throughout the game world to pick up because there's weapons strewn around everywhere, and you can always spawn weapons by visiting a wishing well and throwing some money in. But be warned, if you do it too much, you'll start spawning enemies out of the wishing well, which can often take you by surprise. So Poria, if you could find somebody to demonstrate the dynamic slicing.
Sure.
Maybe.
Does it have to be an enemy?
No, maybe find Snow White there.
I will volunteer.
Okay, so if the Naked Emperor could just stand still for a moment.
All right.
Stop there and be naked.
Poria, this is the
do
dynamic slicing. So as you can see, this is completely dynamic. This is being controlled by Poria's right analog stick, and it's dead simple to perform. Once your glory bar is full up, you press the R1 button. Is it R1 or R2?
That is.
Or the R2.
Sorry, R2. You press the R2 button in front of your enemy or your colleague, and you go into this glory attack mode. And like we said, this is completely dynamic.
Fully depending on the way that I decide to turn.
There's no predetermined slices whatsoever. And there's going to be plenty of achievements in the game as well, linked to how many kind of slices you can pull off within the glory attack.
Sure.
We had somebody earlier on pull off or receive a special achievement for the amount of slices that they managed to get within the glory meter.
So you guys are running on the Unreal Engine, is that right?
Yes, we are. Yeah, yeah. We had Mark Rain come by the stand at E3, and praise us highly for the game. He loves it. It's something so far removed from everything else that's been done Unreal.
Right. For starters, not a first-person shooter.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So it's really encouraging. Now, what you're seeing here, this is another glory attack that Poria has just undertaken. He's done it with one of the potions, which is actually a healing potion. But when you use it in a glory attack, or when you use it on your enemies, it will freeze your enemies, it will stun your enemies for a moment, and then you can go over and kill them and take them out.
Okay.
That was one of the healing potions. Now, there are a multitude of other potions available, such as an acid potion, a freeze potion, a fire potion, and as well as potions, these are also available as a magic wand that you can use to shoot fireballs or freeze balls or acid balls out at your enemies.
An axe in there.
Well, no, by myself.
Yeah, and it's like turning around.
I wonder if I can pull it out.
Yeah, you should, if you time it well.
Oh!
Or just cut yourself in half.
Cut my face off.
So that there is a great example of some of the environmental hazards that you have to kind of try and avoid.
Which will get much more complicated whilst we progress.
Naked is not a great way to be trying to avoid buzzsaws.
So in this particular instance here, we can also see some environmental hazards. So for example, the truck that comes around, Simple Jack's just going to stand here for a moment and wait for one of the things to come around. You can just see it just completely wipes me out and there's nothing left of me. What you can just barely notice on the right-hand side of the screen is the storyteller. And the storyteller's at the moment not allowing us to progress any further until we've kind of completed this small section here.
Oh.
We have a multitude of enemies available in the game as well. I mean, at the moment we're fighting a lot of lumberjacks. There'll be lumberjacks, there'll be princes, there'll be gingerbread men, to name a few.
Oh, you just went right through you.
Yeah, the effect that Poria has on at the
invincible.
moment is that's the heal potion that you saw earlier used in Glory Attack on everybody on the screen. Poria actually drank the potion himself, which made him invisible for a set amount of time.
Whoa.
Sorry.
Oh my.
Who's Sleeping Beauty?
Sleeping Beauty? You mean Snow White?
Snow White.
I am. Why? Okay.
Stop hitting me. I will.
Okay, so there's a couple of other potions that were available there. I didn't know if we managed to pick them up. Oh, they're just heal potions. I thought there was acid potions.
Oh, you stunned me.
Should have waited for like a second more. Oh, snap.
It was worth it. Look at my brain.
Yeah. Don't mind.
So I guess are these characters like modeled? I guess all the way to the core. I mean, they've got skeletons and
Yeah, so
internal
the
organs
characters have internal organs as
Yeah.
such, with the brain and the skeleton. And now,
Right.
depending
Yeah,
on,
this is
on
the dynamic.
Yeah, so this is one of the other great technologies that we've developed, which is the dynamic bone crushing, which can be used when you have a blunt weapon. So when we can't slice, we can, if we don't have a weapon, we can use the dynamic bone crushing, or if we have a blunt weapon, we can use the dynamic bone crushing. And it effectively crushes all of the bones inside of your enemy to kill them.
So it's really somewhat nerve-wracking.
So as you can see on the screen, we currently have 3 players on the screen. And we can support 4 players offline,
Okay.
and we currently have confirmed 2 players online.
Okay.
But we're very hopeful that at the launch of the game, we'll have capabilities to maintain 4 players online as well. The gameplay is really simple. It's drop in, drop out, so
Just
you can
push 'em in
literally
there.
just drop into the game at any moment, or alternatively drop out of the game at any moment. At the moment, we're completing the story mode in multiplayer, but we also have PvP arenas within the game. We're going to have around 5 to 10 PvP arenas at launch, and there'll be different variations of the deathmatch. You know, rack up the most amount of kills in the game, or get the most amount of money in one particular game, or within a timed limit, for example. And we have a multitude of maps available as well for those PvP arenas.
Now, is there anything you can unlock in the single player that you can take into the deathmatch, like new weapons or any kind of?
Well,
upgrades,
everything
stuff like
that's
that?
available within the single player will be available
Okay.
within the PvP arenas as
Okay.
well. They'll have some environmental hazards in as well in the PvP arenas.
Cool.
So, for example, you could be fighting on a balancing board that will kilter from one side to another depending on where you're standing. So, you know, you could have taken out your enemy and then be standing there gloating about it, and then the balance board moves and you die as well. So there's lots of things that you need to be aware of in the PvP arenas.
So your game has bosses.
Yeah, so this is one of the bosses that you'll come across within the game.
Who just wiped us all out?
He
Whoa.
appears to be the angry giant beaver. Is that correct?
So yeah, this is one of the beaver bosses, and he's one of the tougher bosses to kill within the game.
Don't get too close to him.
Oh, I fell off the edge.
Don't get too close to him.
Oh, my apologies, that was me. So what you see with this beaver boss is he's throwing up as well, and every time he throws up it's bile. And obviously if you stand in the bile it's not too good, and it will harm the character.
What's the purpose of all the collectibles we were just picking up?
So those are all coins that you'll use to upgrade your statue within the game.
Okay, okay.
And to kind of heal, to kind of redeem yourself every time you die.
Right.
Don't get too close to him. Just throw something in his mouth. Ah.
Every time he gets me.
Hit him. Ah. Jump.
Oh. Apparently we're all very bad at taking instructions.
Don't get too close to him.
Yeah. So tempted to make some kind of beaver-related joke or innuendo, but I'm just going to
Yeah,
refrain.
we had a few of those in through.
The barrel's broken.
They work though. You can only make one if it's actually funny.
Oh, then I'm definitely going to refrain. I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that we need to do that one more time. Is that,
Yeah.
is that a safe assumption?
I think so. Oh,
Three times on the blades.
Jump.
Oh.
gosh. This is a mad beaver.
Oh.
Oh.
So tough, this guy.
Eat the fish.
Oh, come on.
Throw a fish in his mouth. Ah. Okay, hit him.
Hit him.
So this-
Success!
Okay, so we've just jumped into the village now, and it's a completely different area because we completed the chapter.
So how many chapters, or I guess how I should say, how many fairy tales are there? In the
Yeah,
game?
well, there's a huge collection of fairy tales, but in terms of like areas or levels, we have 20 playable areas
Okay.
that you'll play throughout the game, and that could be like the Candy Castle, the Giant's Lair, the Lumberjack Village, the Lumberjack's Forest. There's lots of different areas, and throughout all of the different areas, there'll be sort of fairy tale themed characters, fairy tale themed enemies that you'll have to fight, and they might not necessarily fit with the right fairy tale because it's just this giant world of fairy tale adventures that are just all mixed up in this giant cauldron.
Cool. Well, very cool. I want to thank you guys for your time. Thanks for stopping by.
No, thank you very much for having us.
Remind us one more time when this is going to be out.
This will be a Q4 release this year, so
Okay.
it's definitely coming out this year. I would confirming our release date in the next couple of weeks.
Okay, very cool. Well, thanks again.
No, you're welcome.
you.